All right. So we're just taking some of our time, like a minute or two, just to give way to our attendees to join our webinar for today. So for those of you who are in our webinar room right now, I hope that you can hear me. You can hear me clearly, and you can see Max and Martin and I. So just let me know through chat if ever you're experiencing any issues with Zoom or any help that you need. So for now, while we're doing the introductions, let us know where you're from by typing in the chat box if what you're looking forward to learn from our webinar for today. And also if you have a business or if there's anything that you need from our attendees or Max and Martin, let us know in the chat box. So make sure to type it in. And also by typing in your details, probably you can meet some of your future business partners during this webinar. So make sure to hover your mouse anywhere in the screen and click on chat to make sure that you can type in your messages. So there, and I think we can start. And for now, everyone, welcome to our webinar for today. I am with Max and Martin. So our topic for today is master the art of maximizing profits from the real estate investing experts. So it is my pleasure to be the host for today because we've done a bunch of webinars with Max and Martin before, and it's months ago. So I am really excited to host this webinar again. And most of you probably are not new to Zoom anymore since we've been using Zoom with most of our events. So I know that you are masters of using Zoom right now. So we'll be launching polls throughout our webinar. So this is the first poll. So for those of you who are first timers joining our webinar for today, all you have to do is answer that poll and you can be eligible to join our raffle. So we have a total of 4 polls during this webinar. So just answer those polls and you can be listed to our raffle and you might be the lucky winner of the week. So by Mondays, we are posting the winners in our social media platforms in Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. So make sure to follow our pages as well so that you can be updated if you're the lucky winner. And also our customer service will be contacting you if you are the lucky winner of the week. And this event is brought to you by Real Estate IQ, the #1 in deal finding, providing you with more than 45,000 leads every month. So let me just share a very quick testimonial from one of our clients with Real Estate IQ. So this is just to let you know how they are experiencing our tools right now. So let me play the video for you.
Hi guys, I'm here with Eduardo, and he's a Real Estate IQ client. Eduardo, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
Thank you. I'm very, very good. And tell us your experience with Real Estate IQ.
So I've been using Real Estate IQ now for a little over a year and a half. I've seen the product grow quite a bit. I use Real Estate IQ for my comps, but where I've really been a user of the product is of the data, of their data that they send out on a monthly basis for my foreclosures, pre-foreclosure. I've gotten several deals off of that, and it's a great product, a great company, and I'm also part of their Geeks meetup group, and it's a fascinating time where Real Estate IQ in the direction that they're taking the product, and so I can't say enough good things about it. I mean, it's made my career, and it continues to make my career.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Thank you, Eduardo. I appreciate you.
There you have it. So that is one of our live events previously. That was before the pandemic. So we're doing the events now live. So if you're interested to learn more about Real Estate IQ, about our products and our services, feel free to sign up for our free 45-minute one-on-one deal finding training. So all you have to do is answer this poll. So there. So all you have to do is answer yes to this poll so that we can enlist you for this one-on-one deal finding training. And also you can visit realestateiq.co/events so that you can sign up for our deal finding training webinars with Becky and Rodney. So just go to that website so that you can join our webinars for the deal finding training. So our speakers for today, it is my pleasure, everyone, to introduce to you Max and Martin Chera. So just like what I've said previously, they have previous webinars with us, and it is like a comeback. And this is another series from them. So I hope that everyone is ready with a pen and paper so that you can list down all the important details that Max and Martin will be teaching us today. So let me give the floor now to Max and Martin.
Hello, everyone. Martin Chera here. Max, go ahead, say hello.
Hello, everybody. It's glad to be back here and talking with you all.
Great. Okay.
So just to introduce, go ahead. I was just going to say, just to introduce ourselves.
I just want to first thank the Real Estate IQ team, Jeff and his team, for creating these events. First and foremost, hope everybody's keeping safe and sound. We know that due to this unfortunate pandemic, we have to do these things, which is these podcasts and Zooms and all that. So for companies like the Real Estate IQ, creating them for everybody to gain knowledge, resources, and education, it's a great thing, and everybody should take heed to that.
Absolutely. So let's go ahead and get started. Here we go. Everyone sees that?
Yep, so clear.
Perfect. Go ahead.
Okay, so Martin Chera, the president of the company. Just go back one, Max. My son is Max Chera, and we are hard money lenders. We are nationwide. We're here to present you with some ideas, concepts, which is called structure, analyzing and strategizing your company, your team, and being in this real estate industry. So what's the philosophy is OPM, and nobody's ever heard it before. It's other people's money. And what that philosophy is when you're using somebody else's money and you're putting down as little as possible, your return on the investment is greater. And just to give you folks an idea what I mean by that, assuming at $100,000 cash and your deal was going to make $100,000, well, you made 100% return. You invested $100,000, whether it's the stocks, bonds, IRAs, or real estate, and your deal was going to make $100,000, you made 100% on your money. But imagine if you only put down 10% on that same deal, and you leverage with the hard money lender, and you got 90% leverage or $90,000. So you only put down $10,000, and your return on the deal was $100,000, the same deal, same profit. Well, you just made 1,000% on your money. So that's what the philosophy is, other people's money. That's what all investors, real estate investors have been doing for a long time, and that's what everybody should be doing. So using somebody else's money is not only safer, but it's more productive. It's a higher return investment, which I'll go through you in the next few slides. So I am the CEO of the company. My Max here is my son is the managing partner and director of sales. I've been in business for about 8 years so far. Max just came on board from Keller Williams in Texas 2 years already. He worked in Texas in Austin, correct, Max?
Austin, Texas.
And I brought him in because my company has grown ever so much out there. So we're here to provide you with education, resources, and tools, and guidance is what this event is all about.
Absolutely. Just to give you guys a little bit of background, we've all been in real estate now for a total of 30 years plus between me, my father, and my brother. We all started, from the bottom, I started myself personally doing rentals, worked my way up to sales. From sales, was able to start helping investors do fix and flips. From there, I was able to do some of my own deals. So it was all a process. Now, thank God we're moving on to we're doing multifamilies and other things like that. So we're here to share all of the knowledge, all the mistakes that we've made, how we've gotten to where we are with you guys so that you can build your wealth in real estate and eventually, be growing onto bigger and better projects.
Just to add what Max said, I was a flipper years ago, and in Jersey, my home state, New York and New Jersey, and becoming a flipper, I decided to buy and hold years and back in the '90s, and then I strategized, which I'm going to explain to you later on. Is now I'm on to a bigger projects, which are multifamilies, and some of them are in Texas, multifamilies, and I have some retail shopping centers out in Florida. So everybody's got to start off somewhere, and then eventually you're going to get to a nice plateau where you can be doing bigger and larger size deals. So structuring your business, structuring, this business now of real estate, how do you get started? Well, you need to get the financing in place. You need to have a partnership, possibly, if you need the extra money. You need to create an entity, which would be either an LLC, an S Corp, or C Corp. And why do I say that? Because most lenders only want to lend to an entity. And for legality reasons, you also you should be putting your deals into an entity, because you don't want to be any personal liability on yourself. So, structuring deals, you want to get the money in place. And when I'm saying financing, we don't mean our money, your money, your equity, your deposit of that 10, 20%. And again, if you need a partner to obtain that difference, an LLC, an attorney, a title, insurance, and of course, getting your own financing in place. My company can refer you to great title companies, insurance companies, possibly even you're saving your money on your next deal. So having a relationship with a good lender will get you not only the financing you need and not only the products and the programs, but sharing information, whether it's a referral source, another information which we're going to be showing you very soon on the slides. The next part of getting a team in place and structuring your business is analyzing, which means don't throw the money away, do your research, and have the tools in place. And what I mean by don't throw your money away, you could buy all these kinds of courses, 30, 40, $50,000, and not that they're bad, but most importantly is when you're learning, that's the experience that you're gaining. Every challenge is an opportunity. A problem is not a situation. It's just a problem to grow. It's a problem to learn from. So throwing away your money, just don't throw it away on a bad deal or on some type of maybe a syndication type of a thing. Learn how to do deals yourself, because that's the way you're going to be growing and attaining massive wealth in real estate. And just a quick snippet on the real estate. Millionaires are made in a recession, and unfortunately, we are in a recession now, some say. Whether we are in it or we're going to be in it, and millionaires are made. And when there's ever uncertainty in the economy and in the world, is the best time, an opportune time to be buying real estate. When things are low is your best time to be buying. So the next bullet I wanted to bring up is strategizing, and that's how to plan for your future investments. Every investor needs to know, is he going to be wholesaling? Is he going to be flipping or buying and holding? Just seeing what you want to do on a case-by-case basis, you're not structuring your goals, you're not structuring your needs and your wants. So it's important to kind of know this, going in, not going out and saying, I should have done this or I should have done that. The next page. Okay, so how do you structure and build a team? Well, everybody, every investor, and by the way, whether you're experienced or not, and I'm sure the experienced ones that aren't here will agree, you need to have friends and a lot of friends, and those friends are going to become realtors, lenders, wholesalers, contractors, permit expediters, attorneys, titles and insurance agents, and other investors. And why do I say other investors? By you asking questions to those other investors that building up your team, whether whoever you met them somewhere, by asking an experienced person, what do you do here and there? They're going to be helping you and guiding you. And again, if you're making, how do I say the word? I don't want to say a mistake, but if you feel that you made a mistake, it's just a learning curve. It's just an opportunity to grow. So I just want to be clear with that, because I know a lot of newbie investors, they're afraid to buy, they're afraid of this, and they're afraid of that. But you have to get in it to win it, like the lottery commercial I had years ago. You got to be in it to win it, and that's what it's all about. Next page, please, Max. Okay, so we got some team rules in here to structure. So realtors, how are they going to help you? Well, they are going to know the values, what they are today, and they're going to know the market. People may say, well, I don't want to pay retail. but a good realtor may have some off-market deals. A realtor may know some private sellers that want to sell, depressed sellers that want to sell, or maybe some properties that have issues and the sellers don't even know about it. So realtors can be your best asset, and they also, more importantly, they know the market. So if you ever want to sell that property that you're buying and you don't know the ARV, what would a three-bedroom, two-bath go for, or what would the rental go for? A realtor is going to be your best option. Lenders. Well, why do you need a lender? Like I said before, it's about leveraging. And what is leveraging? Using other people's money. It gives you a higher return on the investment. The less you put down, the higher return. Also, the less you put down, the less risk that you have. If you're putting down 10 or 20% versus 100% of your own money, you just you mitigated your risk much less. Now, people may say, well, I'm still responsible. I'll get to that after, but you're not so much responsible. The less you put down, the less risk you have, the more return you're going to make, and that's what it's all about. Wholesalers. Woof. So my company can recommend many wholesalers to you in any city, in any state. We have a very qualified wholesalers out there that can help you. And you may say, well, why should I use wholesalers? What's the value a wholesaler is going to bring? Well, they're hungry. They're not making any money. So they're going to be looking for motivated sellers, motivated property owners that are looking to sell. And then they're looking for folks like you and investors that are looking to buy. And let's be honest, with this pandemic, we're all looking at getting back to our jobs, whether we're working at a home, working out of our office. We don't have the time to buy. So that's where a wholesaler comes in, because he could help you find the property. That's all he has to do is call you up, and that's all you have to do is look at the property. So a wholesaler could be a great asset tool for you to finding your properties. Contractors to get the work done. I think that's kind of self-explanatory. Again, we could refer you to some of our contractors. As always, do your due diligence with the contractor. I would say, tell him you want to look yourself at some 3 or 4 past deals that he's done. And folks, he may show you some other contractor's job. So I would say, look, I like the property that you show me. Now give me their phone number so I can call them. And now you could verify with that owner, that investor, hey, I just looked at your house today. Can you give me some input on the contractor? So always do your due diligence with a contractor. Look at some past deals that he's done. Call up those customers that he's worked with. And I will say, as an investor, a past flipper, and a current investor in a different type of a market, not just do your due diligence. Sometimes I'm of the impression, pay him a little bit more to get the job done quicker. And what I mean by that, for example, let's say he's looking for $50,000. I'm going to ask him, well, how long will it take you to do the job? And he tells me 2 months. And I'm going to say, well, how about if you could do the job in 1 month? How much will it cost me? And if he tells me $55,000, $5,000 more, I'm going to run the numbers to see if that $5,000 more will get me more if that property was sold 30 days earlier. And by the way, that 30 days earlier, I have less taxes to pay, less insurance to pay, less payment to pay to the lender. So a lot of expenses are reduced, even though I may have increased my expenses by $5,000. But it's all about, if you got the time and you got the patience and you got the carrying costs, by all means, but sometimes paying a little more, getting your contractor to finish quicker can get you more of a return on your investment. So permit expediters, obviously, if your deal needs permits, it's a great resource to get your permits done quicker. An attorney, legal guidance and contracts. I'm always in the impression, spend $1,000 to save yourself $10, $20, $30,000, because an attorney is always looking to save you. That's their industry. So even the best contracts, the easiest contracts, they're there to save your hard-earned dollars and your investment. For the experienced investors who've done 10, 20 deals and they don't need it, that's fine. But I'm a businessman also, and I always use an attorney. Whether it costs me $1,000 or $2,000, I'd rather be safe than sorry. And again, we could also refer you to some attorneys in your particular state. Title companies. So what are they doing for you? They're ensuring a clear and equitable title, searching any liens and encumbrances. And that's very important, because no title company is going to give you a policy if there are any liens or encumbrances. So they're there to make sure that your plot of land, your plot of parcel has no liens and encumbrances. And for the folks who don't know what a lien is, it could be a bank lien, it could be a contractor's lien, it could be a family lien. Maybe somebody owes somebody in the family X amount of dollars and he put a lien on the property until that owner sells the property. You know, one of my clients had a $30,000 lien from his brother that he never knew existed because his brother got cheated out of an estate money. So, you know, that's where title money comes in, and no lender will lend you unless you have clear title. So title's there to protect you. They're going to give you a policy, and no lender will lend you unless you have clear title. And again, any of the folks that need a title company, an attorney, or realtors, we could recommend them. Insurance agents to ensure that your property is, you know, with low risk. We are looking for a builder's risk policy. Am I correct, Max? We are looking for a builder's risk policy. Um, you know, keep in mind when you're searching, when you're buying a property and they're empty most of the time because it's a flip, it's a greater risk, not just for the lender, it's also a greater risk for your insurance carrier. So with that said, the premiums could be, you know, somewhat higher, but just to let you know, you always need insurance to insure your property for fire or any damages. So that's for the best sources of how to get your team rolling. Okay, Max, the next page. Okay, so where do you find this team? Well, due to the pandemic, I'm sure everybody knows it's Zoom, Zoom, Zoom. However, I'm going to give you some great ideas that's written here, and I'm going to give you some personal ideas that's in, you know, it's that I could tell you verbally. So getting at your teammates, other investors, networking at events and webinars such as this one, talking, engaging people like Jeff said, put out what you do on this chat, whether you're a realtor or a banker or a lawyer, put out what you do because other participants in this group always are needing help to network with each other. I'm always of the philosophy that opportunity equals networking equals growth. And right now we're networking, and the growth of your company is tomorrow morning calling up your future references and working with them. Online resources, Zillow, Trillia, Redfin, Homes.com, Realtor are great resources to find properties. And these particular websites could help you with pre-foreclosures, foreclosures, tax liens, probates. Of course, Real Estate IQ does that as well too, which I want to say, you know, we definitely recommend them, and they're on our website because folks, you need an inventory, a pipeline of inventory. How do you get a pipeline of inventory? By having many resources. So Zulia, Trillo, and all these websites, that's great, but you need to have other subscriptions on your phone, on your laptop, because you need to put in your city, your state, your property, I should say your property, the property area that you want, the prices that you want, because without a pipeline of leads, how are you ever going to be successful? If you plan on looking at one property a month and hopefully that offer gets accepted, the end result is not going to be very powerful or strong for you. So having a pipeline of leads, calling up realtors, calling up wholesalers, you know, buying subscriptions to websites so you can have a pipeline of lead generation. Courts and auctions, great facility, great area to, I mean, we go there to find investors, and investors are there to find properties up for sale. And I will tell you, as a lender and as an investor, whenever the courts open up, I'm not sure on Texas, but whenever the courts open up, it's going to be inundated with properties, from foreclosures to the pre-foreclosures. How about the cases pre-COVID of March to the new cases that's going to be coming up in January? So for the next 12 to 24 months, there is going to be a lot of opportunities to be buying properties. Of course, social media groups and Yelp. And I'm going to be adding other ideas in the next slide or two. But get out and network. If you can't do it physically, do it like we're doing now. Join all these RIAs, these BRIAs, and all that, so you can network, talk, engage, discuss what you do, discuss the help that you need. You know, and that's what it's all about, to build up your team.
For sure. And if I could just add in really quickly also, by the way, when it comes to the online sources such as Zillow, Trulia, Redfin, those are great sources, not only, like my father said, to find the properties that are for sale. Sometimes you might find, you know, a retail property that just might be priced right. But additionally, it'll also help you find the right realtors that work that area. It's important, we said before, that a realtor is going to help you understand your market and your values. So it's also important to make sure that we're working with a realtor that actually knows that area. So how are these sites going to help me? Well, if I go on these sites and I keep seeing Max Chera pop up on every other listing, well, I know he's going to be a market expert in that specific area. So he is somebody that I would want to speak with. So look online, see who's there. Additionally, right now, social media groups are on fire. I can't even tell you. I've seen more comments going through them than ever before. There are so many different groups you could join. There's Texas RIAs, there's Jersey RIAs, there's global RIAs, there's nationwide RIAs, and each of them has different people asking different questions, needing different help. So no matter which side of real estate you're working on, whether you're the investor side, whether you're a wholesaler, there is always opportunity to network with more people there. And I just see more comments coming up than ever before. You'll also see who consistently comments, who talks the most, who has the most knowledge, and that'll direct you on who you want to speak with when it comes to working in the social media platforms.
Great input, Max. And folks, before I talk about this next page over here, when you're calling up realtors and you're calling up wholesalers, a lot of my investors say, oh, they don't call back, they don't call back. Look, they're busy and they don't want to deal with tire kickers. So if you're constantly calling them, maybe say that, Express Capital recommended we call you, or if you have your own realtor, your own wholesaler, keep on calling them. They're busy. Maybe they're testing you out. They want to see if you're a sincere person that's not going to be a tire kicker to them. Call them quite a few times. Show your interest. And when they're giving you a property, give them input. Call them back. I like it. I don't like it. Out of my price range, in my price range. They don't want to deal with people who are going to waste their time. Right now, with interest rates so low and there's so much, it's a seller's market right now. They're busy. So they want to deal with viable investors who are ready to commit and move forward. And I want you to think about it also. Do you want your time wasted? No. So I want you to just think about that when you're calling them, because sometimes I know that, we just get upset when somebody doesn't call us back or somebody doesn't text us back. But you should give them that courtesy saying, I looked at it, I liked it, I don't like it. I think it's much too high, it's too low. Communicate with them so this way they could, work with you better. So how do you find deals now virtually? We can go to LoopNet, auction.com, Craigslist, Realtor.com, Trulia, Realty Track, and Property Shark. And I want to touch on the last two. I'm not sure about Trulia, but the last two, I know they specialize on pre-foreclosures. So those are homeowners who haven't paid their mortgage, and it could be due to COVID, it could be before COVID. So you need to call them up, do a skip trace, call them up, find out who the sellers are, who the owners are, and say, look, I see that you haven't paid on your mortgage for a while. I'm an all cash buyer. My name is so and so. Are you in need to sell your property? I can close, within a week's time, and I'm here for you. Find out their pains, find out their needs, find out their wants. And most of the times they may say, I'm okay due to COVID. I just lost my job, and in 6 months I'm going to be okay. Keep their name and the number and call them every month and say, look, I called you last month. At the time you told me everything was fine. Are you still okay? And what I'm saying, by the way, find out their needs and their wants. Maybe they need to find another place to live. Maybe they need to go, far away to their children, a different state. Work with them. Find out what they're looking for, because if you can help them get to what they want, you can most probably get a deal done for you. I've done it myself. My investors are doing it. So talk to them. One of my investors, he said that the lady wanted to move to a different state. As a matter of fact, she wanted to move to Texas to be with her children. So he found that out, and he says, look, I'll give you this price and you can stay for free for the next 6 months until you find something, as long as we agree on this price. And it happened. So that's what's it's important to know when it comes to negotiating deals. I will say also, number three, Craigslist, inundated with motivated sellers and property listings. And people may say, oh, scam, scam, scam. Listen, a property owner can't be a scam if title is going to give you a clearance on the ownership. So when you're looking for properties and you're putting in your city, your state, your price range that you want, these are motivated sellers, and I want you to think about it. They're putting their own properties up there. They probably are embarrassed to put up a for sale sign on their lawn. They can't afford to pay that 5 or 6% realtor fee. And the most important thing is that they're motivated. Call them up, find out what they want. And I'm going to take this a step further. When you're looking at Craigslist, also go to the renter section and call up landlords and say, look, I'm not a renter, I'm not a tenant, but I see that your property's for rent. If you're ever looking to sell, again, my name is John Doe and I'm a cash buyer. If you're ever looking to sell, keep my name and number, because you never know. Sometimes those landlords are just desperate trying to rent it out to get that, cash flowing, but they don't want to be a landlord anymore. And with this pandemic, a lot of emotions came where landlords want to become tenants, and tenants want to become landlords, and some landlords just want to get out of this industry. So this is really a great opportunity. Okay, So the next part of this, webinar is analyzing deals, and the three parts to analyze a deal is what we call market trends. Market trends is where is the property going? Is it a seller's market, a renter's market, a flipper's market? My company, Express Capital Financing, we can provide you with a free market trends analysis. We just want to know, of course, that you're in the deal and that you're committed and you're in contract, because it does take us time. We do a thorough market trends. We put it in a simple email for you. It's very simple for you to understand. However, it could provide you with some good insight. And why do I say that? Because one of my investors, I did it without him even asking me. And we found out that there was a warehouse opening up across the street from this single family home. And when I found that out, I says, John, do you want to own this property at $1,200 rent when there's going to be an industrial site, a warehouse site opening up across the street? Now your tenant's going to see trucks moving in and out day and night. And I says, chances are that rent is going to be, drastically lower. We could still lend him, but he decided not to move forward. So a good lender is going to be there, not just to deploy capital and give you the money. We're going to give you the tools, the guidance, your second set of eyes, second set of ears on all your deals. And that's one of the tools that we do as a market trend. Second thing is an economic sheet and deal calculator. And I'm going to let my son, Max, take over the next slide or two.
Thank you so much. So the first thing, my father pretty much covered it as far as the market trends. It's pretty much just understanding your market, where you are, what's happening around you. And like you said, are you in a seller's market or a renter's market? A lot of the times we're able to, we know certain neighborhoods that we work in more often than not, right off the bat, and we're able to just tell you that verbally. And sometimes, we want to look into it and make sure that we're giving you a thorough analysis and what's going on. So now just a quick heads up, like what are some things that we do look for, or you should be looking for as an investor when looking at market trends? So the first thing is strong population growth mixed with affordable housing, right? So for example, right now we're noticing a lot of luxury markets taking a dip, and they're usually the first ones to take a dip. So that's what I mean by affordable housing, being in that medium spot where you have your properties buying and selling every day. What's your everyday price? Is it affordable? Is it something that I could find a buyer for easily? Or am I going to be searching, across the whole desert to find my buyer? Strong population, again, that goes with the, with everything that we just mentioned, making sure that there's enough people in your area that would even need to buy a house, right? So that's the absorption rate as well. How many properties are selling versus how many are hitting the market. And that will tell you, how likely am I to sell this property in the next month or two. Avoiding areas that have dipped hard to COVID-19. Now, this is really something that I would say is more in line for people that are flipping properties. If you're flipping right now and you take a market that was hit heavy, such as Manhattan, I'm sure everyone knows that, it's taken a large dip, a lot of vacancies. So something like that would not be the greatest idea for you to do a flip on, because you can't really anticipate what's going to be happening. You want a market that you can anticipate what's next, right? If I know that 1 + 1 = 2, I know that that's easy to deal with. But if there starts to be X and Y's and we're starting to get into algebra, well, that starts to get too confusing, and you're not going to have a factual number. Now, if you are buying for future, again, I always agree that it's the best thing to buy at a low market. So if you're buying for appreciation, if you're buying for the long game, then yes, you do want to look for these markets that have been hit heavy, because there will be a lot of opportunity in these markets. Another thing is, again, struggling areas that are struggling before COVID. You would notice that if they have not made their way back up, chances are they probably won't in the near future. So again, that's something else you want to stay away from, unless you are anticipating, a lower sale price when you are doing your ARV. If that makes sense, it's a home run, sure, no problem, that makes sense. But again, know your market, know what's happening, be cautious, and go where the jobs are. One thing I always say, I personally, and you'll see it actually in our presentation to come, I personally believe that Austin, Texas is a huge and great market to be in. Why? Because there are so many jobs moving out there. You have Elon Musk bringing Tesla in there. You have Dell, you have HP, you have all these, Google, Apple, they all are bringing so many jobs there and recruiting out of UT and A&M and all these big schools. You have so much happening there that it's consistently bringing jobs. And what happens when people have jobs? They have money. They're able to buy their houses. They're able to invest in their families. So we're looking for good markets that have good job opportunities. People are going to be okay. They're stable. And again, even if you're a landlord, why do you want to be in an area that has strong jobs? Well, these jobs bring you renters, right? Tesla just is making a warehouse, and they're going to have, I don't know, 100,000 new employees. It's 100,000 new renters, maybe 50,000 renters, 50,000 buyers, however you want to split it up. But these are new people now that are entering your market that are giving you the opportunity to give them housing. And again, looking at population growth, I could talk about it all day. Some of the top markets right now that I see as far as growth are Texas, Georgia, Alabama. I'd even include Tennessee. New Jersey is always been growing, but right now they're also seeing a big spurt right now, as well as Florida. So these are just some of my picks, and we'll go into some more of them right now. So as far as the actual trends that you'll see online, and if you're following, you'll see Austin, Texas is top there, North Carolina, Tennessee. And one thing to keep in mind, guys, if you notice, is that all of these places, there's not one major metropolitan city, except for maybe Dallas, you could say so. But even then, it's still a suburban area. Right now, what we're noticing since COVID hit is that a lot of people are looking for that simple lifestyle. They want to enjoy their life. They want to be able to spend more time with their family, have a less overhead, be able to, just enjoy, have a better lifestyle. And so people are moving to the suburban areas. They're still, they're still urban enough where they're cities, but they're suburban enough where you could really enjoy yourself and have more time to yourself and your family. So that's, if you are in one of those areas, good for you. It's going to be a great opportunity for you right now.
I'd just like to add something, Marcus, if you go
Sure.
back a slide 1 minute. So, folks, being an investor, whether you're new or inexperienced, and I'm sure you'll agree with me, and I hope you will agree with me, is that don't invest into different states or different cities that you're not privy to right now. Even though if you look at, for example, number 7, Orlando, very hot, and something we didn't put in there is Tampa, very, very hot. It's becoming our second and third state to invest, as far as lending. But investors always ask me, I got a great deal in Texas, but I live in New York. How are you gonna accomplish that? Not unless you've done a nice amount of deals and you know how to invest. Then it's just about investing in that market. But if you don't know how to invest, you invest in your back door. How far should you go? My recommendation maybe is 60 miles where you could travel by car. If you're ever thinking of traveling by train or by plane, I would not recommend that because listen, we're human. We're going to get lazy. We're going to get intimidated, and we're not going to be in constant contact with our investment, our hard-earned money, and we're going to get lazy. And then what happens is you're going to lose your investment. So invest in your own back door. There is a lot of opportunities to be there, and your own back door more than anybody else.
100%. I could not have said that better. Again, these are not to be chased, these top markets. This is more informational purpose only. If you know your backyard better than anyone else, you could be in the worst city in the world and still make money in real estate. That's the beauty behind it. It's just about knowing the market. Now, the next thing I want to go into with you guys, and this is, if anyone, by the way, before I start this, if anyone has a deal currently that they want to analyze together with us right now live, I would be more than happy to do so. All they would have to do is, and Jeff, help me out here real quick. I think they just have to raise their hand and then we can make them speak live. If they have, if not, it's okay. I'll just do a sample deal just to show you guys how this works.
And I just want to add, folks, that this will be given to you after the presentation. So if you don't remember anything, you'll see it after the presentation.
100%. So this is, just to be clear, you guys see my screen, right?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So actually, give me one split second. This is an older one. All right, I'm going to do it anyways. So on this deal right here, what we're going to do is we're going to compare a deal in 2 different ways, right? So this right here, this sheet is something that you're going to get from us anytime we help you analyze a deal. And this is going to show you everything from your acquisition cost over here to your interim expenses, which is while you're holding the property, and even your cost to sell the property. Why? Because as a new investor, some of the biggest mistakes they make is that they see, I'm buying for 100, I'm selling for 200, I made 100,000 profit. Well, there are some costs that come in between that we want to make you aware of, right? Our purpose here is for information. We want to teach you as much as possible to make the least amount of mistakes. So we want to show you what the costs are. We want to show you how your deal is going to look. And now, again, these numbers are not 100% accurate. These are based on, you got to talk to us a little bit and tell us about it. And the more accurate you make it, the more accurate your number is going to be. So let's talk through it. So over here on this left-hand side, this is all the information that we input that's going to help analyze our deal. So what do we need to know? We need to know how much we're purchasing the property for. We need to know how much we can sell the property for, which is our ARV. And we need to know how much it's going to cost us to renovate the property to get it to that stage. Once we have these three numbers, this is the most important factors. Why? I can always judge my deal on a higher basis for how long it's going to take me to flip it, but I can't really guesstimate how much I'm going to sell it for, because then I'm going to lose money, God forbid, and I don't want to do that. So we're always going to ask you also, hey, look, based on, you know, this size deal, if you're an experienced investor, we'll ask you, hey, how long do you think it would take you to complete the deal? Why? Because the faster you're in and out of a deal when it comes to hard money, the less money you're spending, the more money you're making. So we want you, we actually want to help you get out of our deal as fast as possible, because we want you to be profitable. The more profitable you are, the more you're going to come back, and the more deals we're going to help you get done, and the bigger your portfolio is going to be. Now, as far as interest rates, points, things like that, we'll be putting that in for you so that you know exactly where it is. Once you've worked with us, you know approximately what your rate would be. You can guesstimate a little bit on the rate or a little bit on points. Shouldn't make or break your deal. But again, it is important to know what that number would look like. So if you ever need to, you can call us, email us, text us. We're very responsive. We'll make sure we help you and help understand your deal.
So I just like to add what Maxi's saying. So folks, if you look at the line 6 where it says time to flip a deal, even though it may take you 3 months or 4 months, we as your lender and you yourself, once you get this particular spreadsheet, you should always put in 12 months anyway, because you want to figure worst case scenario. Whether it's the pandemic, whether it's weather related, whether your contractor left you, many issues happen in real estate. So put in the worst case scenario of 12 months. So this way you could see what your return on the investment is going to be, which is column E, line 18. And then all the way in the bottom, Max is going to show you the profit. Even though you feel that you're experienced and you could finish it in 3 months, or you're not experienced and it's going to take you 4 months, put in the worst case scenario to be conservative and protect it for yourself. Better to project low and get higher.
Correct. If we could sleep with the worst case scenario, we could dream with the best case scenario. So over here, when it comes to mortgage tax, transfer taxes, title insurance, we put that in there basically based off what the generic market prices are to reflect. If you are selling a property that's luxury, it's in the mansion size properties. Each state's a little bit different. We could add that in for you as well. And pretty much what this is going to do now is it's going to spit out all of these numbers for us. So it's going to tell us exactly how much it's going to cost us in interest, renovation, and interim expenses. And check this out. If I change this now to 6 months, all of a sudden my profit just went much higher. It went from, what was it? From 66,000 to 89,000 in a matter of 6 months.
They can't see the profits. They can't see the profits.
Right over here. You guys see this? 79,995.
You should go on the bottom left. No?
It's going to show, it's the same number both places. So I'm going to go through it right now. So now, as we're going through it, guys, keep in mind, this is not just us as your lender, right? This is including third-party costs. So you got to communicate with us a little bit to make sure that this is perfect. But if we're not looking for perfect, we just want a good estimate to understand that it's profitable and it's worth our while. That's, we can do that for you too. Legal fees, this is for your attorney. Some states are title, some states are attorney. If you do have to pay one to represent you and show up at your closing, we want to make sure that we add that cost here. Like we said earlier, a mortgage recording tax is something that has to happen. Filing fees, usually a flat fee of $250 that the title company will charge you. We have our underwriting, you have appraisals, you have your private lender fee for the legal in order to draft your loan documents, title insurance. So everything that we have as far as the acquisition side is going to be in these couple boxes from 18 to 26. Now we have our renovation money.
This is all for the
Go ahead.
No, I just want to let the folks know that this is all cost related for the purchase and all expenses going in for the time of sale. So this is like a 99% proof. So it's not just for the acquisition, it's for the acquisition and the sell.
Correct. So now we're going to go into our interim expenses. So we obviously spent, in this case scenario, we spent $75,000 in renovating the property. That's a cost that we're incurring in midst of our project. We're making interest payments. You may even have some property. Well, you will have property taxes that you'll have to pay for the property as well. So that's everything you're going to have while you're holding the property. And again, if you have any other third-party stuff that you pay for, whether it's inspections, whether it's you hire a stager or wherever it may be, these are things that we don't have included in here. So just add them in there or let us know and we could add it in there for you. As far as sales cost, right, when we're selling the property, we're paying a broker, which is a realtor. So over here right now, I have it most of the time, our investors usually, and I probably can't say it that way. So more often than not, my investors tell me they pay 3% to their realtor because they're usually cutting a deal with them or of some sort because they're doing multiple deals with them. There is no set price for a realtor. So let me know what it is they're charging you and I will input that there for you. It could be anywhere from 1% to 6%, sometimes more. So just keep in mind, know what that cost is. Make those relationships first. Know who your realtor is going to be. Know what that cost is so that we can input it up front. We don't want to wait till you're ready to sell the property to negotiate that because that's just going to eat into your profits and that's not going to be good for you. That's not good business. You're going to have to pay transfer tax to sell the property to the new buyer. You have a legal fee again for them to your attorney to represent you and sell the property, and a filing fee again. And what that does now is it breaks down everything for us. We have our costs that we had in between our property, which includes the renovation money and all that. We have the sales price that it took us to get into the property. And now we know exactly what our profits are. This is our net profit, okay? So that's really what we want to make sure we know about. Why? Because if you're doing a deal and you thought that there was more profits in there and there wasn't, well, sometimes you might say, hey, you know what? This is not worth my time because I make more money on my W-2 job than I would doing this. That's okay, right? We got to find the deals that work for you and your goals. So understanding this is going to help you say yes or no quicker so that you're not spending hours and hours trying to figure out if the deal is for you. Now, one thing I always like to show, because I think it's super important, is let's take a look right over here right now at the flip economics. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to position this deal as if we are not borrowing any money whatsoever. That means that you brought your own $200,000 to purchase the property. You brought your own $75,000 to renovate it, and you sold it for $400,000. Well, you made $98,755, but it costed you $281,000 of your own money to get there, which is a 35% cash on cash return. Now, if I leveraged myself and I borrowed at our lowest leverage of 80%, and are at 100% of the renovation. Well, now I only have, at the end of 6 months in this deal, I have $67,000 of my own money. That's $210,000 less than we needed. I made $79,000. So sure, yeah, I made a little bit less money. I did. I made a little bit less money, but what did that money do for me? It made me over what was it before? 39%. So it made me over 90% more cash on cash return for my money, which means for me that now with the $200,000 that I had, I am able to do now 4 deals with that money. And 4 deals at $80,000 is a lot more than that $10,000 that I would have made if I used my own money. And not only that, but now if God forbid this deal goes belly up, I have $60,000 in the deal, not $280,000. You know what? That night, I may not sleep perfectly, but I am not going to sleep in the same situation as if I lost $280,000. So that's the difference in how using other people's money is going to work for you. And this is going to spit everything out. It's going to explain to you why you have $67,000 in the deal. Where is this money coming from? What do I have to pay for? It's going to tell you what you're going to have on your HUD closing. This is most likely going to be that number of what you have to bring to the closing table. This is what comes from Express Capital Financing as far as that. It's going to tell you your monthly payment. So everything is here for you. Why? Because we believe in transparency. We live in a world right now where information is infinite and at our fingertips. We go on Google and I could find that. I could tell you who your grandfather is, right? So why is that important? Because we want to give that to you. We want to show it to you. Because if something's going to come up, it's going to come up today or tomorrow. And I'd rather it come up today where we could attack it. We have time on our side, because what happens when we don't have time and we have to make a decision in 5 minutes is we usually spend more money than we have to remedy that problem. So let's buy time. The one thing that can help us, make sure we're analyzing it up front, make sure the deal works. And that's how we're going to get you into a good shape and building a nice size real estate portfolio. Now, additionally, guys, I know that, you know, a lot of this I'm saying is something that we're going to build for you, right? And you're probably saying, well, hey, what if I need to get a deal done? You know, tomorrow I got a deal that was emailed to me and I need to make them an offer or else I'm going to lose it. Well, lucky for you guys, Express Capital Financing, we have a deal calculator on our website that you can use and will help you analyze your deal and make sure it's profitable. And you can do exactly what I just did at your fingertips. So the website is here. It's on our website, expresscapitalfinancing.com. You can go to business resources and then hit deal calculator. And it's going to open up this entire calculator here for you where you could put in your purchase price, your ARV, how much it's going to borrow. And all those numbers that we just went through are going to show here for you. How long it's going to take you to flip it, you can choose. So all that information, like I said, right here at your fingertips, you can do it yourself. Send it, you can do it, send it to us, say, hey, Max, this is what I did. Tell me if this is accurate. We're more than happy to do that. Depending on where you are experience-wise, we're going to make sure that you're not getting into something that's over your head. So, and it's going to tell you everything, your ROI, your cash on cash, how much you need to bring to the purchase. So use this. It's a great tool. If you don't have your own, I know some of you guys, experienced guys, have your own sheets that you already built out. If you don't have one, use ours. It's free, it's easy, and it's informative. Let's go here. Now, when it comes to, you want to take over this part?
So the next part of the presentation is the last part, which is to strategize. So what strategy is right for you? Like I said before, is your strategy and your goal to buy? Is it more to keep your portfolio? Is it to rehab? The BRRRR, which is the buy, the rehab, the rent, and the refinance, and repeat. Or you want to be wholesaling? Do you want to be fixing and flipping? So for the investors that are here tonight, they want to learn. If you have cash equity, if you have liquid equity, 10, 20% down to get started on a project, then maybe you want to do flipping. For all the investors here that want to learn and they want to, get started and they don't have that liquidity right now, I would say do wholesaling. And again, that wholesaling is networking, whether it's virtual or live, meeting homeowners, meeting landlords, meeting developers, and talking to them and seeing what they want for their property. And then, finding buyers. You need to get a buyer's list. You need to get a seller's list. So it's like being a realtor, but without the license. You're just making a connection. And by the way, if you are wholesaling, you're never selling the property. You're just selling the contract. So if you are engaging a seller into a contract, you're putting down your legal name, whatever legal name you want to put. It could even be to be determined, or it could be the street address, 123 Main Street LLC, because that contract between you and the seller, you are just assigning that contract to your new buyer, to your new borrower. Okay, you're never selling the property, you're just assigning the contract. So that's very important for investors to know. So like I said, it's important to know, are you doing the BRRRR? Are you doing wholesaling? Are you doing flipping? And by the way, just talking about the BRRRR movement, it was coming in strong, 2019. I'm sure you know, in 2020, a lot of us lenders paused it because it's a secondary market. We call it a stated income no doc, which is just very similar to hard money, but we're basing it upon the debt service of the property. Why am I saying this? During early part of COVID, every lender paused it. We were very afraid, but I'm going to say very happily and very confidently say that most lenders came back in it and are very strong with it. Why? Because it's such a great demand to be buying properties right now with a stated income no doc. There's a great, great demand. Like I said before, landlords want to become tenants. Tenants want to become landlords. People, all this emotions, they want a bigger place, a smaller place. They want to go from the burbs to the suburbs. So that's why doing this, by the way, you're going to get forced equity every year built. You're having your tenants pay down your rent, and you're getting positive cash flow. And most importantly, what the BRRRR is great about is it's a greater tax write-off than your usual job income, your W-2 income. Owning real estate, the tax, how would you say it, Max? The tax rate is much lower being an investor on a property than it is being a W-2 or even a self-employed, worker. All right.
Absolutely.
Next page. Great. So how do we strategize with the BRRRR? obviously it's about cash flow, the highest return on the investment, which is an ROI. You're building equity, and you have the flexibility of getting your money out. I want you to think about if you bought a property for 100 and you put in 50 grand, 150, and you're keeping it now for the cash flow. Like I said before, it's building up forced equity, building an equity, and your tenants are paying down your mortgage. But in a few years, while the equity is being built, you can pull out probably all your money, if not more so. And that's what investors are doing now too. They're pulling out their money and they're buying more properties. This is all about leveraging. It's all about leveraging. So it's not just about a hard money lender. It's about leveraging your property, leveraging your assets to gain more assets. Okay, what are the negatives of the BRRRR? Well, like anything else too, it won't appraise, and you have to deal with the rehab. So, investors, we have to know that this is a job. This is not just let me just buy a property and hope for the best. Like I said from the beginning of this webinar, you have to kind of strategize, you have to structure, you have to, you have to plan. So if you can't handle rehabs and contractors walking out and messing up on a property, or they walked away from you until you paid from them, it may not be such a great strategy for you. So that's why I said a few slides ago, you need to know what you can handle and what you want to do. Just because everybody's making money in it, it doesn't mean it's the greatest thing. So, you have to like what you do, or you have to know what you're doing also.
Absolutely. And one real quick thing, by the way, if this BRRRR strategy is not the strategy for you because you don't have the patience or the time to deal with the rehabbing and all the work that goes into it, you may want to look at also turnkey if cash flow is your thing, right? There are a lot of properties out there, and there are a lot of specifically investors that are flipping these properties that they have fixed up and got it into perfect turnkey condition so that all you have to do is get them rented out. So there's a lot of opportunity out there still. Just understanding understanding yourself is going to help you strategize what's best for your deal. What am I capable of? What am I not capable of? What am I willing to do? What am I not willing to do?
But I will say again, from an investor standpoint, a lender standpoint, what you can tolerate, maybe you could tolerate if you just learn it, and if you just go through the motions. You may want to go through it in this way. You could feel if you want to tolerate it or not. However, the next strategy is wholesaling. Like I said, it's very there's not a lot of cost money going in. So it's fast, it's simple, it's quick. I'm not gonna, simple is not so simple. Everything is hard work. Everything is patience. Everything is knowing about what you're doing, but fast, simple, and quick. There's no cash or credit we needed because you're not borrowing. You're just flipping a contract. You just have to network to know buyers and network to know sellers. It's location independent, which means you could do it in your back door and you could do it in a different state because you don't physically, you got to physically be there, I would say, right, Max?
Not necessarily. Right now, a lot of virtual wholesaling is going on. I know a lot of wholesalers right now out of New York and New Jersey that are even doing deals in Atlanta.
Okay. So it is very high demand, like I said before, because a lot of people either want to get back to work, need to get back to work, and they can't, well, this is more for the buyer, that they can't be sitting out there driving for dollars or, calling up their realtor. So this is where you could become, as a wholesaler, very high demand and servicing the needs and the wants of your buyers, of your investors. High return on investment. Like I said, if you think about it, it's a very small cash influx going in. You may want to do some marketing, some flyers, some door knockers, and maybe put some lawn signs up there. But you're not going to be spending no $20 or $30 or $40,000. But it's funny, I'm talking about this because today I met a very big wholesaler on the phone today, and he was telling me he spends about 10 grand a month on his marketing. I don't know what he does, but his marketing. He said he puts, these lawn signs all over the place, on every corner, billboards on every lamppost and all that. He wants to get his name out there. And it's been about 3 months, and he's done quite a few deals selling them. So it's all about how you, again, want to structure and analyze and, becoming strong in this market to be successful.
And one last thing I'll add in here, by the way. So there is actually one time in wholesaling where you, maybe more than one, a handful of times where you may want to still purchase the property and then sell it off to your investor. Maybe you have a giant wholesaling fee, consignment fee in there because you bought the deal at such a good price and you just don't want it to blow up at the closing table or anything like that. And you may want to close on it. Express Capital Financing, we actually started this last year. We're doing transactional financing. So for those wholesalers, or if you're looking to get into wholesaling, you want to understand how it works. Maybe you're in a state, I think there might be 1 or 2 states where you actually do have to purchase the property and then sell it off. Talk to us. We have programs for it. We'll help you. We'll make sure you get your wholesales done as well.
Great thought, Max. So what's the negative of wholesaling? You're not having the buying, you're not having the buyers. You're keeping up to date on potential buyers, and there's no guaranteed income. Yeah, we're in the service business, whether you're a lender, whether you're a wholesaler, whether, we're in the service business. So if you don't have the inventory of buyers and sellers, there is no guaranteed income. You could be successful. I myself am the owner of my company. I go to courthouses because I want to meet investors to offer them my financing. And I see plenty of wholesalers there walking. As soon as the investors are coming out of that foreclosures house, they are bombarded by wholesalers trying to talk to them about the properties that they just got a contract. Because if they can get some type of a deal, then they can go ahead and discuss it now with their buyers. So it's a good business, but you just have to work hard in it like anything else. And again, if you're looking for wholesalers to refer you to, we can recommend some to you in your city, in your state, if you need that. So so if you're looking to strategize with a fix and a flip, I would say again, for newbies who don't have liquidity, go into wholesaling first. That's your crawling stage. The next stage is your walking, and maybe mid-running is your fix and the flips. I will tell you, as a lender, average industry in the United States of flips, a fix and a flip profit has used to be 58,000, has increased to $72,500 in the past few months, and it is ever so much increasing. Yes, cost of materials going up. Yes, prices are going up. But when prices are going up, like I said before, the after repair values are going up because there's a very big demand for homeowners and there's a very big demand for renters. So the ARV is growing. So that means your profits are growing in this phase. So what's the advantages? Potentials to make a good profit. Personal development. You'll be learning some great skills and great industry. Rehabbing homes can be very rewarding. You're going to meet a lot of people in this business, from landlords, developers, wholesalers, like Max said before, stagers. You're going to be meeting a lot of interested people, and that can be very rewarding. And keep up your networking, because if you stop it, it's going to slow down your business. So keep up always your networking. Don't stop it. Don't slow it down. And flicks and flips, normal turnaround time these days. I don't want to say these days, but pre-COVID was about 3 to 6 months. Now maybe 6 to 9 months due to contractors not getting out there and things like that. But it's very quick turnaround time. So if you could do on an average flip, let's say 50 grand, and you do 4 of them a year, you don't have, it's $200,000. So it's a great business to be into if you just got the time, the patience, and the tolerance to do this, this type of strategy. Next page, please. So what's the negatives of flips? Like anything else, you could lose money. And by the way, there's nothing guaranteed in life. You could have the best store of Dunkin' Donuts on 42nd Street. Doesn't mean anything. Anything could lose money. And I want to tell you, folks, I was, an investor, and I used to have commercial properties years ago. And I saw the signs coming when big box stores were coming in, the internet was coming in. And then in the past 10 years, retailers took a very deep slide. So I just want to show you that for all the landlords, even who had commercial properties, anything could lose money. And that was a gold mine in the 70s, the 80s, and the 90s. So anything could lose money. I understand people are more aversion to a loss risk than they are to a possible gain, but you got to be in it to win it. You got to take chances. And so what if you lost money? So what if you made a mistake? If you should learn from it, be smarter, more educated, and take that challenge as an opportunity. So what does Express Capital do? If everybody looks at the right side, we do fix and flips all day long. Our minimum financing is $75,000. I'm happy to say that our interest rates now are back to the norm of 8% to 10%, depending on leverage and experience. Borrowers would like to be a 650. Can we work with less? By all means. Can we? And by the way, we can mix up any of the 3 components. We can mix up somebody's score, somebody's experience, and somebody's money. And just like Max said before, we introduced a few months ago, not last year, transactional funding. Now we're also offering 100% financing for qualified borrowers. what is qualified borrowers, give us a call. We'll go over it. Just to be transparent. There isn't a lender there is not a lender that's going to give you 100% when you're a newbie and you don't know what you're doing. So it's not that you have to have 10 plus flips, but we just want to hear somewhat of your experience, somewhat of your score, and some other imperative factors that would decide where we can do 100%. And what that means is we're going to give you 100% of the purchase, 100% of the renovation, and now we also introduced 100, 100, and 100. And that third 100 is we'll cover all carrying costs, title, insurance, lawyer, monthly payments to my company. So we can do a lot for you and with you. It's all about, like I said before, networking is an opportunity to grow and build an investor-lender relationship. And what we offer, we're happy to say, we're back to the 90% of the purchase and 100% of the rehab. To the left, that yellow multifamily bridge. For the folks who don't know what multifamilies are, it's considered 5+ units, loan size from 85 million to 10 million, 85,000 to 10 million. Interest rates, again, 8%. And by the way, when a lender says 8, 9, 10%, it usually is annually. So if you're taking, just for example, 12%, it's 1% a month. There are no prepayment penalties. So if you're at 10%, you're really paying 0.80 a month. And if you're in the deal for 6 months, you pay 4.8. So an interest should not be a deciding factor. It should not even be a major factor. That is minute when you, as the investor, are making the money. You want me to go partners with you? I'll go partners. I'll take 50-50. Why would you want to do that when you could pay 10% annually or 5% for a half year and get the most leverage and you making all the profits? So, some of my investors, they tell me, oh, my uncle's going to go with me. I'm going to get my partner for 50% ownership. You're giving away 50% of your profit. I don't know why you would do that. When we discussed in the beginning of this webinar, it's about leverage. When you're taking on a partner, you're going to have disputes. The partner may not have the money for future deals. You're both going to be on the same page. I don't know, but using a lender who could provide you with that leverage is a great way to go. Okay.
So just to let you guys know real quick, by the way, we have the other 2 programs as well, which are the long-term products. And we're actually going to go into greater detail on them and the strategies behind them on our next webinars here. So Rental 360 is going to be next Wednesday, 6:30 Central, 7:30 Eastern. The No Doc commercial program we're going to be doing not in 2 weeks from now, but in 3 weeks from now. And that one again also is going to be from 6:30 Central, 7:30 Eastern. Here is our contact information, guys. So please do reach out. You have a deal you want to go through. You want to understand it. You want to know what your profits look like. You want to know what financing would look like. You want to get qualified to start getting involved in real estate, making offers. If you need pre-approvals, that's all where you can contact us. So we have our address here. We're located in Brooklyn, New York. Remember, we're nationwide lenders, any city, any state. Feel free to email us here at info@expresscapitalfinancing.com. Or if you like to have more of a conversation, which honestly we all do, you could reach us here at our telephone number, 718-285-0806. And again, not again, but we also have our social media platforms where we'd love to engage with you, learn more about your deals. You have a deal you want to put out there to our investors in our network, please feel free to do so. You could reach us on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn at Express Capital Financing. Same name, all places, Express Capital Financing. And we'd be happy to talk more with you there, engage with you more there, and see more of your deals.
Okay, thank you everyone for joining. I hope we were.
I think Jeff has a few more slides he wants to show.
Huh?
Jeff is going to show a few more slides right now real quick.
Okay.
All right. Thank you so much, Max and Martin. So that is really a very informative webinar, and as I can say, as expected from you guys. So thank you so much. So let me just share my screen real quick. Okay, there. So all right, so everyone, this is the perfect opportunity for you to ask your questions in the chat box. Let us know if there's something that you're still confused at, or you wanted to know more. So let us know from the chat box or Q&A box to make sure that we will answer your questions before we end the webinar. So while waiting for your questions, this event is brought to you by Real Estate IQ, the #1 in deal finding, providing you with more than 45,000 leads every month. And we guarantee that you will always find a deal with Real Estate IQ. And we really do appreciate your feedback. So after this webinar, there will be a very quick survey. So all you have to do is click on the link after the webinar so you can answer our survey, and it will really, really help us improve our webinars, improve our services for you. So just let us know by answering our surveys after the webinar. So if ever you have questions with our services, about Real Estate IQ, or anything that you wanted to know about our team, our services, make sure to contact our customer service. So the contact details are in the chat box right now. Make sure to save those details, or you can send them an email or give them a call so our team can help you with any clarifications that you need. And we guarantee a 2-hour response from our team. So right now we also have freebies that we can give our attendees. So just like what I told you a while ago, that by answering our polls, you can be eligible to join our raffle. And with this, you can choose any freebies that you are interested at. So make sure to answer all our polls. And in case that you missed our 45-minute one-on-one deal finding training, you can just include it in the chat box. Just say demo please, so I can save your details and make sure to reserve you for a one-on-one deal finding training. So you can also join our community portal, wherein you can do some networking. You can even post your questions. So you can connect with others and let them know what you need. Probably they can help you with your business. And also, we invite you for our first annual investor summit. So that will be on October 17th, 2 days from now. So if any case that you haven't registered yet, just make sure to go to realstateiq.co/events so you can register for the webinar. And I have posted the links and the details in the chat box, so you can just go there and register. So right now, let me just check our Q&A box and our chat box for any questions. So Silas, thank you so much. I have that recorded on my computer, and we'll make sure to have you reserved for that demo. So let me just double check. So Rob has a question. How do you become a broker with ECF?
Absolutely. So I actually just went ahead and posted the link in the chat box as well, by the way. So we have 2 ways of doing it. One, well, you'll always need to go to our website just to get the agreement filled out, which is going to protect you and make sure that any clients you send our way, you get paid for. But you can give us a call if you have questions, you want to learn more about it, how it works. If you already understand how it works, feel free to just go to the website, sign up. We'll give you a call the next day saying thank you for signing up. Make sure you have all the documents and everything you need to become a broker of Express Capital Financing.
All right, thank you so much for that, Max. And also, I have reposted the contact details of Max and Martin in the chat box, so you can just easily copy and paste that to your computer. So if ever you have questions by tomorrow or the following days, you can just give them a call or send them an email. And make sure to check their website for more information about Express Capital Financing. And in the screen, you can also see the details. So you can just, hit on print screen or screenshot those details to make sure to save it to your phones or your computers. And let me just double check if we have questions in the Q&A. So there's none, and in the chat box, there's none as well. So before we end the webinar, if you have a question, just let us know in the chat box, or by tomorrow, the following days, let Max and Martin know by sending them an email or giving them a call. So right now, while waiting for any additional questions, I have launched another poll. So this poll will give you access to our events. So our team will be sending you an SMS or email, if whichever way you wanted to. Just answer that poll so that we can update you with our future webinars. And speaking of future webinars, next week we will be having our 2 wonderful speakers again, Max and Martin. That's on October 29th, 6:30 again. So make sure, if you haven't registered yet, make sure to go to realestateIQ.co/events so you can register as early as now, or probably after this webinar if you forgot to register for the webinar next week. So let me just answer this question from Gwendolyn in the Q&A. How much the REIQ lead program fee? So for any information about pricing, about our services, Gwendolyn, you can contact our customer service, so they can give you a breakdown, or they can even send you an email of the pricing of our services. So let me just check again on the chat box. Since we do not have any other questions in the chat box or Q&A box, Max, Martin, any last tips or last advice to our attendees before we end the webinar?
Don't wait, Dad, you're muted. All right, since he's not unmuting himself, I would just say, keep doing what you're doing, guys. The fact that you're here listening to our webinar means that you're investing in yourself and your own personal growth and your own business. So I'm very happy to see that, honestly. I'm an entrepreneur at heart. I always started out that way. So I love meeting new entrepreneurs and getting to, help them achieve their goals. So keep doing what you're doing. Keep going out there, keep learning, keep finding deals. And if there's anything we could do to help you get there to where you want to be, to the next step in your life, we're here to help, we're here to guide, and we're here to make sure that we hit our goals. So let us know what we can do to help, and just reach out.
I guess I taught him good.
So Max and Martin, thank you again for this wonderful webinar, for your time and all the information that you have shared with our attendees. So again, everyone, thank you so much for your time, for attending our webinar for today. I'll be staying in the room for like a minute or two, just to give you time to copy and paste all the links, all the details in the chat box. So again, everyone, Max and Martin, thank you so much for your time. Have a great day, everyone.
You too, everyone. Have a wonderful rest of
Thank
your
you,
night.
everyone. Bye for now.